We've got Super Frankie Lampard. He knows exactly what we need. Thiago at the back, no one in attack, but Chelsea's going to win the Champions League. I can't believe this. I absolutely cannot believe this, but I will tell you what, I'm absolutely all for it. Super Frank Lampard, a man who was Chelsea manager, and I walked down the beach at 6 o'clock in the morning distraught because Chelsea had sacked him. Last night, put this bad boy on aeroplane mode again, post a video about Luis Enrique and Nagelsmann. How will Chelsea line up against Real Madrid? I gotta look like a mug, didn't I? Posting it in the middle of my night thinking, I'll make sure that you lot are entertained. Oh, it wasn't me you were entertained by. It was the football club. It was Chelsea. I can't keep up with it, honestly. I've literally just woken up once again, turned the camera on and started bloody singing. This ain't what I'm normally doing for my day-to-day life and job, you know, but I'm absolutely all for this. I love Chelsea reappointing Frank Lampard as interim manager until the end of the season. We're going to talk about everything that this means, but right now we are still waiting for a club statement, which I'm sure it's going to come this morning when you guys wake up in the UK. All of the big journalists are talking about this. David Ornstein from The Athletic, Fabrizio Romano, all of the big Chelsea journalists are all over this story. I literally once again went to bed. I went to bed quite late last night. I went to bed at like 2 in the morning, and then all of a sudden, Frank Lampard. It's crazy how Chelsea have managed to go from sacking Frank Lampard to bring in Thomas Tuchel, sacking Thomas Tuchel to bring in Graham Potter, and then bringing back Frank Lampard after sacking Graham Potter when you realise that Tuchel wasn't the man, and neither was Graham Potter. Somehow, I just genuinely think this gives Chelsea the biggest boost that even a Luis Enrique and a Julian Nagelsmann couldn't give Chelsea between now and the end of the season. When we're talking about the excitement for a new manager, we were talking about the brilliant football that we could play, the attacking football under a 4-3-3 Luis Enrique system. We could talk about Julian Nagelsmann being a good fit for the so-called Chelsea project that Todd Boehly, Bedad Eghbali want to employ someone for the long run. What this Frank Lampard appointment does is it gives Chelsea, this is the obvious bit, but it gives Chelsea the time to make sure that whoever is employed in the summer is the absolute 110% right man. Luis Enrique can do PowerPoint presentations with individual breakdowns of how each player fits into his system and fits into this project. Julian Nagelsmann can be 35 years old, one of the most exciting managers in world football, but I'm absolutely behind Chelsea Football Club not rushing this process, taking until the end of the season, because the new manager bounce of Frank Lampard, I believe, is an actual bigger bounce than what we would have immediately seen from a Nagelsmann or an Enrique, because what these two men would have done would have been to try and come and immediately imprint their footballing philosophies, the building of tactics, in as fast way possible with a club that still have so many new players, which a lot of the reason that Potter struggled is still probably because so many players are trying to learn how to play together fluidly in such a short period of time. Whereas with Frank Lampard, when I talk about the intangibles in football, I know for a fact that Frank Lampard tactically is not at the level of a Nagelsmann, of an Enrique. As much as I would love to believe that my favourite human being on planet Earth, who's not my friend, my family or my girlfriend, Frank Lampard is that bloke, by the way, just so you know. Now that he's the manager again, as much as I'm excited about it, I know that the reason Chelsea will bounce back quick under Lampard is because of the energy that he will bring. Frank Lampard, like John Terry, like Didier Drogba, like Petr Cech, like Ashley Cole, is Chelsea Football Club. So when you bring someone who cares about this club, who sits there in the stands, sits there in front of his TV with his wife at home and loves this football club, when you bring that man to Chelsea just before they play Real Madrid in a Champions League, you best believe those team talks will be inspiring. You best believe the likes of Mason Mount, who was the best Chelsea player under Frank Lampard, Ben Chilwell, These guys are going to get so gassed on the return of Frank Lampard that immediately the world-class players in this Chelsea squad, who may not have been world-class all the time this season, their game will immediately elevate. You've then got a dressing room of the people that really do know what it is to be Chelsea, then backed up and funneled down from Frank Lampard. All of a sudden, everyone who does care cares a little bit more. Everyone who doesn't really know about what being Chelsea is yet. All of a sudden, they're starting to get to the point where the other ones were, where those who do get what it is to be Chelsea, your likes of Enzo Fernandez, Badiashile, they've come in, they've put their heart and soul into their performances at Chelsea Football Club. Those guys go to another level. And the guys that we're waiting for to kick on, they're the ones who start to just go. Everything's on. The engine is running. Chelsea employing Frank Lampard as interim manager until the end of this season, I think, is a genius move. It is PR from the owners of the club, because at the same time, the deeper reasons are it's great because we can really look at who is that best option. Nagelsmann is still out of a job. He said he was in no rush. He doesn't want Tottenham. You've also then now got the likes of De Zerbi from Brighton, who is a fabulous football manager. Chelsea can really take the time, interview more candidates to see who the best fit for this job is. Whilst in the meantime, the fans inside the stadiums, home and away games now, are going to be absolutely rocking. We've literally just got a whole, now this is what we call music album of songs back for Chelsea fans to sing inside the stadiums. If this isn't a good enough reason enough to hit the like button on this video, I don't bloody know what is. We got Super Frankie Lampard. He's back at the club. I actually, as much as anything else, my excitement, my happiness that I think this is actually a smart move from the club. Bruno Saltor, let's be honest, you can see it in the interviews. He don't know what he's doing. He's so far out of his depth. But Frank Lampard coming back, he'll probably take over for the game against Wolves. And I was there at the Molineux when Frank Lampard was the manager, and Chelsea beat Wolves by 5-2. I'll try and source the video for you and I'll put it here because it was absolutely incredible that day for Kayo Tomori. Put the ball in the top corner from outside the box. Tammy Abraham scored an incredible hat-trick for Chelsea. And it's when we started to believe that maybe we were onto something incredible with Frank Lampard as the manager. And the best part, in my opinion, about this is there is very little pressure now on Lampard. Because even though that Real Madrid game is there, Chelsea's season this season has been a shambles of all shambles. You've got Thomas Tuchel sacked, Graham Potter brought in, spent a load of money on compensation for him, spent a ton of money on footballers for him to do better. He didn't, and it is now April, and Chelsea are literally scraping at the barrel here to try and give us any possible opportunity to get something against Real Madrid. Even the club, deep down, know that this is an uphill task of all uphill tasks, but Chelsea hiring interim managers, or hiring managers mid-season, has only ever won us the Champions League. So, at this point in time, Frank Lampard is the new Chelsea manager. Please let me know your thoughts on this appointment from Chelsea Football Club in the comments down below. The process continues to find that permanent manager. I think what we'll see now is a lot more different names will come into the fold. Maybe, if Chelsea were interested in a Zidane, we could try and get him to learn a bit of English over the course of the next few weeks. Emmanuel Petit came out and said that Zidane won't become the new Chelsea manager because he doesn't speak English. Eunice told me once that he does speak English. Eunice, mate, what are you talking about? Who's telling the truth here? Is it Emmanuel Petit-Poipi or is it you, Sunshine? I don't know. Not calling him out. I'm absolutely buzzing. Guys, I need to go and get myself a coffee because I've made this video without even having my flipping coffee in the morning. But we've got Super Frankie Lampard. He knows exactly what we need. Thiago at the back. No one in attack. But Chelsea's going to win the Champions League. We're beating Real Madrid. We're going to draw the first leg 1-1, and we are going to win 2-1 at Stamford Bridge. Reece James is going to score, and then he's going to empty Vinicius Jr. out of the pocket for Luis Enrique to sign in the summer, with Vinicius Jr. signing for Chelsea because he wants to play with Reece James in his career. I can't believe this. Frank Lampard is the new Chelsea manager. Come on, you Blues.